Hello, everybody. Hey, how you doing? My name is Johnny Dietrin. I am the artistic director for Vancouver Poetry House, and it's a real honor for this festival to happen and for me to be able to steward it for another year. Thank you, that's good. Yeah, you better snap. Okay, and I wanted to just acknowledge some things this evening. Very recently, we had, the weekend prior to this, we had Hullabaloo, our youth festival. Yeah, give it up, snap, snap. Give it up for that lovely human, the other Johnny, the alpha Johnny, I guess, I don't know. If Johnny's alpha, then I'm omega, it's cool. All right, and an incredible job creating a space for youth to speak. And when the youth were speaking, there were so many young Asian voices that when I first entered the game, I didn't see. And when I was speaking to them, I was thinking about the idea of reverse representation. Because sometimes there's been times in this realm where I said, hey, could there be more Asian artists? And then the leadership said, that's what you're here for. And it's like, oh, okay. But to see that represented, it was a reflection of what we think about around storytelling, representation, nuance, and we think about language. And within my community, my culture, my ancestors, there's a lot of that, where language is lost. And we think a lot of languages on these indigenous lands, where the language of the Hunkamin people are sometimes lost. And it's like because of the residential schools and the 60s scoop, things are lost and it's found again. I think that's what we're here for. I often talk about being artistic director and directors talking about creating platforms for people to speak, and it's not exactly what I think. I think that our job is to create a platform for speaking, but really it's to create a space for listening, to bring people in. So tonight, we're so glad that you're here listening, and with that in mind, I want us to listen to the sound of the space around us, the sound of this land, the history of its people on these ancestral, traditional, unceded lands of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations and the peoples therein. Oftentimes, in my limited learning, I learned that these nations and boundaries often cut up by my ancestors, or ancestors that look like me, was actually this land was stewarded by families. And we're all here as a slamily welcome. So thank you, give it up. Thanks for being here tonight. Entering this space, you meet so many friends that become your family, that found family. And I'm surrounded by people that I deeply love, and their fiancés, who I also love. And so with that, say what? I offered to plan your wedding, I'm just saying. Oh, thank you, I didn't hear you, sorry. See, I'm not listening. Thank you, you're welcome, thank you. Okay, so on that note, with love, with weddings in the air, and all the great things, give it up for your beautiful host this evening, the incredible Cobra Joe Collins, all the way to the stage.
Oh, I'm overambitious here. Hello. How are we all doing? Okay, so I want our energy level, if we feel that that's where we want to be, like maybe just like at like an 11, it's louder. So if we could like, how are we doing? That is so kind. Thank you so much. A big thank you for Versus for having me host, to Johnny Trin for the lovely introduction, for all of you beautiful faces here in the audience tonight. I'm humbled to be here, coming to you from the traditional territories of Treaty 7. So a little bit of housekeeping before we get going, because we want to keep our house nice and clean. You're going to notice we've got a couple of washrooms at the back of the venue here. Those washrooms are gender neutral. They are clearly marked as to what's inside. In the bathrooms, mind your business, wash your hands. This is a note that is underlined, so I feel like it is very important. Do not shit in the sink. Now, like I said, I'm from Calgary. This might be a cultural thing to Vancouver. I don't know. And I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to yuck your yum. But like for tonight, no sink shitting. Are we all in agreement? Yeah, perfect. If there's any issues with that, just go talk to your venue coordinator for the evening. We can create a space for you. With that said, though, we are very focused on creating a braver and a safer space for you guys here tonight. We do get up here and we talk about a lot of heavy things. We do not censor our poets, with the exception, of course, of hate speech. If you are concerned that it is hate speech and you're not sure, it probably is. Like as like a rule of thumb, you're like, oh, this, yeah. So just like keep that in your mind. So we're implying a general content warning for the evening. If you do need to take space, leave the venue, get some air. None of your poets on stage here will be offended by that. With that said, if you do feel a specific content warning for your piece, you are more than welcome to speak that. It is going to count as part of your time, though, just to kind of keep the parameters the same for everyone across the board. We have to kind of, move forward. Now, with that said, we also do have active listeners here this evening. I believe our booth is located. Can we get kind of a wave? So we've got some glow lights there, which are fun. They're fun, but they are serious. They are serious because these people here tonight are here to offer support to you guys in the audience. So they're not just listeners, they're also caregivers who recognize the emotional experiences that we all are going through here tonight, including our poets. So if you do feel the need to kind of go and talk and process anything that you're hearing, they have kits and tools to be able to do that for you. With that said, they are not mental health professionals. So if that space elevates for you, let us know and we'll take the appropriate measure to make sure that you are safe and taken care of. Because we are here to provide kind of basic care and support for you, because as always, we're in this wild place here together tonight. So there's that. We also have masks at the door. If you would like a mask, please feel free to grab one. There's enough for everyone. Our poets coming up to the stage, let me know. We have got mic covers for you as well. We do ask that you remove them upon leaving the stage, because that's kind of like the point of them. You don't just like keep using the same one. I think that's sort of my housekeeping. Now, I have a very important question for you guys. How many of you, this is, I guess, not quite a slam, but we're going to call it that for intent and purpose. How many of you is it your first time at CIPS, let's say? Okay. How many of you is it your first time kind of participating in some sort of weird competition-based poetry night? Yeah. Okay. So we'll go over kind of how the night's going to run for you guys. It is going to be we're hammering it out. We're going, because we have 24 fantastic poets nationwide for you here this evening, which is so exciting because it's such a lovely opportunity for us to connect here across Turtle Island. So this is fantastic. I'm losing my flowers. So how we're doing it tonight is a head-to-head format. We've got 24 poets, that is 12 rounds, head-to-head. We have lovely judges. Can I get you guys to throw your flowers up? Okay, so you in the red and blue. This guy in the back, I'm going to have a hard time with the colors, so I may clarify. So how it is working this evening, we have a Poet A, that is your designated red flower for the evening. It is Vancouver, it is springtime, we are embracing that here for ya. We have a blue flower, that is Poet B. So tonight we do head-to-head poems at a maximum of 3 minutes with a 10-second grace. Our judges are going to decide which poem truly spoke to them, which one is the winner of this evening, although we are all winners this evening. That is very, very important. And then we'll keep track of that as we move forward. And then tomorrow night in our second preliminary bout, we get to hear all of these wonderful voices again as we move forward to our finals. So this is very, very exciting. So that's the basic bracket as we go. The live tournament will be updated as we head along. So for those following online, you're going to be as privy to the information as we are as well. Now with that said, the time limit here in this space, because it is not a scored event, is a little bit different. You're going to hear a noise when you have hit that mark. Now with that said, you need to stop your poem at that point. If you do not stop your poem at that point, you risk losing one of your flowers, and that flower gets gifted to your competitor. So that's just for the audience. That's what's happening there. Everybody here tonight has already kind of had a pep talk on how that's running. So our folks are good. I think that's kind of it. So normally, do we just get going, or are we? I think. because art is sacrifice. I do not believe that. I believe that art is love and art is community. But for the sake of tonight, we are going to do a sacrificial round. So this is a really great way for the audience to kind of get themselves in the mood for some fantastic poetry. It's a really great way for our participants tonight to sort of see how the night is going to run. So without further ado, I would like to invite my two fantastic sacrificial poets who you will see around for the majority of the festival here. So these are also people to kind of keep an eye out for if you have any questions, concerns, etc. What kind of round of applause am I looking for to start off the night? Let's do boisterous. I'm going to do a boisterous round of applause for SJ and Be Weird. Okay, sorry, that was just... Okay, so our poet A for the evening, this is our red flower poet, is going to be none other than SJ. I'd like to invite her up to the stage to share her work. Thank you so much. Round of applause, please.
So she's got me butterfly cut, splayed across the table. In this story, I'm the biology project, the dissector frog, the fetal pig. I'm the formaldehyde queen, and she's got me sliced stem to stern, spread eagle on the table. And she's got all of my organs in petri dishes. I'm keenly aware of the fact that she could just eat them if she felt like it, take a bite out of my heart like an apple, nibble on my spleen, but she doesn't. She's busy. She's preoccupied studying the in-between, looking for the bits of me nestled in the nooks and crannies of the big empty. I'm gutted like a pumpkin. My lungs wheeze next to me autonomously. My intestines are piled high like spaghetti, and she is searching for the minutia behind the viscera. Prodding all the parts that aren't supposed to be there. I'm not sure what she's looking for. I keep telling her it's nothing. I should know. I just watched her scoop it all out. I invited her here in the first place, handed over the handsaw and the melon baller myself. I believe my exact words were, "Have at her, baby, I can take it." Jumped up on that table, swung my legs around, and flung my body down. I even made a playlist for this shit, 'cause I'm a romantic. I was ready and willing. So I'm hollowed out like a Christmas turkey, and here she is, prodding at the ephemera in the nothing left. She keeps angling this mirror up at me so I can see my own empty and asking, "What's that?" I tell her I don't see anything. I've given her everything already. There's nothing left to see, and she goes, "Oh no, there's something there," and pokes it. And there's nothing to see, but something's been tweaked, and I'm laughing, but I'm sobbing. I have never been this wildly messy and this belligerently happy before. I thought I'd handed over everything, but she is still digging. She's tickling at insecurities and broken memories and networks of moth-eaten belief systems, basically everything I've ever buried, and making me inspect it. And I'm just fucking letting her. I'm her incapacitated meat sack cheerleader, and I think that maybe neither healing nor love are meant to be easy. And both of them really fucking hurt. But I know that this is necessary. Can feel myself coming out cleaner. I know I'm gonna have to let her gut me. Clear out every piece I don't see if I want room for expansion, for more of this connection. So she's got me filleted on the table like a baby tuna. And I have never been this gross and runny. And she says, "Look," and I don't want to. Because I'm sure she's going to be pointing at some undiscovered facet of my repressed sexuality, some newly dug up daddy issue. But I do look. And it's just her. Seeing me, seeing all of me through all of this, and she just smiles and says, "You are so beautiful."
Let's keep it going for Poet A. And we've got SJ and we've got Poet B coming up to the stage here now for you. A wild round of applause for Be Weird, please.
Your song is not a solo. The 52 Blue was born with a voice just like you. Except it was so low, you would never get to hear it. A blue whale so massive its buoyant body could sail in deep currents where its voice travels the furthest, using the so far channel, where sound is at its slowest. And so it travels about as far as sound will go, trapped in this eternal elliptical spiral. It's a deep sound that resonates with the great body of the ocean. But the 52 Blue was born with a voice too high-pitched to be heard by its kin. White noise to their ears. The tiny folds in the skin not equipped to transmit the far-off vibrations, those thoughts that cycle at 52 hertz. 52 events in every intonation. But I heard some whispers of another blue whale who shares the same affliction. And I wonder what tales they might tell if one day a familiar tone of voice might drift into those tiny holes, tuned to tiny waves within waves of a certain cycle of sound, of a signal in the static, a whisper in the din.
Let's keep it going. Now I'd like to invite both of my poets back up to the stage, please. Okay, judges, this is what we've been practicing for, or this is the practice that we're practicing for. This is the thing that we're doing. We're all here for the thing, right? Got it. Okay, good. So, without further ado, we've got our poet A, SJ, poet B, Be Weird. Can we throw up our flowers for poet A, please, SJ? So, we have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is going to be fun for me. 5 for SJ, which means we have are very grateful that Be Weird came up here and shared his beautiful whale poem. SJ is the winner of this round. Thank you so much. Poets, please take your seats, and can we give them a wild round of applause? This is actually a good point to mention that none of these poets broke any rules. But we are living in a real world, and there is rules. So for this competition, there is no props, no costumes, no nudity. Very reasonable, and no animal acts, which could be disappointing, but could also be truly horrible. So probably also for the best. So those are the basic rules of the slam. Our second round poet, which we'll head into here, also is a bilingual poet. So you are going to notice on the front of your chairs there is a QR code. Accessibility bunched. Okay, perfect. So are we ready to start for real? Yes. How are we feeling? Yeah? Okay. A big thank you to the Wise Hall for providing the space to us this evening. It is always warm and welcoming. It is my 3rd time here. You've got a bar at the back with drinks. Please be kind to your staff. Tip them well. Yeah, we're all here in a space of kindness, I think, is the takeaway that we've had so far. So without further ado, I would like to welcome you to the official start of the preliminary rounds of 2024 CIPS. And we've got 24 fantastic poets for you this evening. Okay, so our first poet A of the first round, is Herbert. My second poet B of the first round, is Caressa, all the way up. Wonderful. So without further ado, I'd like to open it up to poet A, Herbert, and then we'll follow shortly with poet B, Caressa.
When I was growing up, I was forced to play a game I wanted to end so badly. I spy with my little eyes, looking around, horsing around, trying to see if anything broke boredom. But as time went on, I started to spy with my little eyes at home, looking for anything or anyone I dread or fear of. But what I saw were flickering ceiling lights, a loud, thick TV playing a movie full of swearing, a father completely devoid of love, a mother far too busy cooking, and at night, loud sounds not safe for work pierced through my ears like a jackhammer while I was deep asleep. Keep in mind, I was in grade school through all of this while I had to contend with a father who viewed me as disposable as a $500 home in Detroit. At school, a half-hour drive from home, I spy with my little eyes for anything or anyone who validated my presence. Instead, what filled my little eyes were dread, emptiness, bullying, micromanagement, incompetent teachers who gossip without consent, and psychologists who misdiagnosed me. They saw my musical ability as a farce rather than an opportunity, and they shoved down my throat with miles upon miles of endless homework bound to be forgotten in a year's time. If you think it's okay to treat an 8-year-old like this, why not go get some help? Why not believe that children truly deserve love? Why not do something that can actually curb bullying? I still spy today with my little eyes for danger, even as a grown-up, having worked 3 different jobs with only one I truly love. I still spy with my little eyes for anyone who truly validates my presence. This is a poem I wish no one else needs to write. To my incompetent teachers and parents, look at where I am now. Moving forward without you is the proudest and best thing I could ever achieve. I wish the vibe with an audience who take in my story. We walk out as a community and we give hope to little kids like you and I that there's a way out of all of this, that you all deserve so much better.
That was Poet A in our first round. I would like to gear up for Poet B in our second round. Can I get a thunderous round of applause for Caressa, please?
Little black girl, I see the way your brown skin glistens in the sun. Do not water down the juice of your existence to conform to those who bid you good riddance, then surgically reconstruct themselves to be your synonym. And they envy the melanin, so they seek UV rays and beds to tan in. But of your naturality, they are famished. They loathe it. So you are microscoped and attempt to find the new flaw so that they can expose it. They know of the royalty that's rooted in your origins. That's why the growth of your past was hindered by erosion, by foreigners who saw black, sought power, and thought they could own it. Know yourself, baby. It's important. You are more than the image that they have been forming. You suffer from your culture while they extort it. They know the power that you have. They cannot let it flourish. They want you to blind your truth and help dilute your goddess, but without additives, you are flawless. Fear not the kink that sprouts from your crown. Embrace your flavor, light and dark brown, especially the blackberry, because you are the sweetest. But they've had plans for your decay since you were just a fetus. Young Queen Sheba's, your beauty is platinum, but they strip your royalty in fractions, so you overlook their actions, you see. Sometimes they'll arouse the materialist in you and drape your sights in the newest fashion so they can sneak and perform precise surgical operations involving your history's extraction. They want you to concentrate on ways to consolidate your blackness, to intoxicate your conscious state, exfoliate, exterminate, and eradicate the queen in you. And in order to alleviate the ways that they aggravate, you are granted a 365 days, just 28 calendar dates when your blackness is acknowledged and becomes something you can appreciate. Now, if you ask me, I say that's fucking disrespectful. As if we didn't come from the motherland. Like our sun wasn't perfectly cured by the melanin, like Ethiopia isn't the cradle of which life developed in. You see, they can try to cover up our tracks and camouflage the dark faces our people painted in the pyramids, but we know they crept up like the Grinch and stole our ancestors like presents, put shackles on their feet and hands, brought them to foreign lands, and planted the roots of poverty, violence, and vanity. So let me ask you, how will you respond Will you act out of anger and aggression from a lack of social acceptance, or be passive and suppress it? I mean, action is the most progressive, but anger in the soul is very expensive. So be aware of yourself and step into your size. I don't know, no Elizabeth, you're the queens I recognize, descendant from the womb that gave this earth life. You're the original, the prototype with no residual, so when the world starts getting out of pocket, remind them. Your skin's full of strength. It absorbs light from the universe. Your hair's full of history. They've been studying you since birth. Let them know your attitude is just right, and you're unapologetic about that. Queen, you transcend time with that black girl magic.
I'd like to invite both of our poets back up to the stage, please, here. We've got poet A, Herbert, poet B, Carissa. Judges, how are we feeling? Are we feeling ready? I think you guys instill confidence. I think that you're fierce and you know, and you just want to wave those flowers in the air. So in 3, 2, 1, put them up. We have 3 blue, 4 blue, and 1 red. So that would be Carissa, our poet B, for the blue flowers. Can we get a round of applause? And a round of applause for Herbert, poet A, for sharing his work tonight. Thank you so much. I'm having a hard time with this, like, A and then colors and then, like, 1 and then 2. Like, it's a lot of things to just, like, keep track of. I appreciate that because, like, in my heart, I'm feeling like I'm drowning. No, I'm not. I'm fine, you guys. This is a very like, oh my goodness. I'm actually quite a funny person in real life. Please come and talk to me afterwards. I'm just going to try and get through this. Which I'm enjoying very much. So we have our second round here coming up. This is the one where we're going to want to activate that QR code if you'd like the translation for the poetry. I've got 2 poets coming up to the stage. Can I get poet A, MC Joannis? Let's go, let's go, let's go. And poet B, please, fire. Perfect. So we're going to get going right away here. Poet A, MC Joannis. Let's give it up.
Je suis pas ici pour les points ou la gloire. Je suis venue à Vancouver pour parler ma langue maternelle, le français. T'arriveras peut-être pas à comprendre les mots que je prononce, but do you feel my sensibility? That I'm stressed out? La lengua es una música, so you just have to dance with me. Presque tout le message passe ailleurs que par mes mots, dans la relation. Dans la perception déjà que tu te fais de moi, avec la posture que prend mon corps, mes intonations, les détails de mes vêtements. White, blonde, pretty face, rich enough to take a plane. You don't see in my front that I'm a lost child. Inceste, violence, DPJ, moving from home to home up to 6 times a year. We all have our sad stories. We learn so high to hide our tragedy, look good, look strong, look healthy. I don't know about you, but sometimes for me, it's too heavy. Je suis ici pour tenter d'abattre un peu de solitude. Québécoise ou canadienne, les fleurs de lys poussent dans la même forêt que les érables à sucre. We can't compare the essence of things. So, can we stop the violence of identity war? Parle-moi de toi, de ce qui t'habite vraiment. Il y a ici plein d'oreilles attentives, de cœurs prêts à s'ouvrir, une pétale d'empathie à la fois. Le slam, c'est un acte révolutionnaire. Ici, on rafistole la biodiversité sociale. On crée des liens improbables et fréquents et féconds. Nos végétaux s'infiltrent dans la banque des mots. Tu peux prendre ce que tu veux. Il y a juste la sincérité qui compte. Notre essence, c'est une semence qui ne s'achète pas. Plus tu t'élances, plus le public t'enlace. Plus on t'écoute, plus on silence. Les moments d'éternité comme ceux-ci sont immortels. Multiplions-les. Soyons radicalement poètes. Rallumons une à une nos flammes vacillantes. Organisons des vigiles de poèmes d'amitié. Bâtissons brique par brique des monuments de mots habités par l'instant. Écrivons des recueils de bonté. Mettons en scène des récitals de courage. Le monde n'a que faire de nos égaux. Soyons radicalement nous.
Let's keep it going for Poet A, MC Joannis. Wonderful. And then we're going to welcome our second poet of this round up, Poet B, Faya.
Walked up to the altar in a black tracksuit, mask, and a gold crown. The pastor said, just ask for what you want and it gets passed down. So I prayed that all my enemies would die and my brothers stay alive. Reply, God would try to fulfill my desires, but I could load rifles and create my own destiny. Takes bold actions for a deity's goodwill to rest in me. When I am calm, I can feel dread possessing me. Regret always been my deadliest possession, bullets dipped in it to carry hatchling's venom. Sat down at the table with a broadsword and a pitchfork. Mouth bigger than the rest of me, I'll eat a large portion. Will not be passed over anymore, though not a firstborn. Never eating lamb, it's always pork. No blood upon my door. Every morning there are poor souls dead upon the floor. Sold some bad potions. Doctor won't come round here anymore. They bought them from the prophet, who said that he could exorcise the horde that makes us treat each other awful. I'd leave the feast, but my feet are both frozen, toes gripping oaken boards I won't let go. Every day, temple harvests more source code, disassemble to determine differences in what we know, removing spinal cords to inspect how structures form. Only way to trust a foreigner is ownership. One day we'll make them speak in codes like us and adhere to our morals. Handed over offerings of gold we stole from savages, built the new cathedrals over hovels where they lay. Give thanks for liberation through the fire and crusade. Give thanks for propagation of the sphere of pain in Hades. Took their blades away and gave them firearms in trade. Burned their pagan totems so our children wouldn't know. Culled the herds of bison till the village fires died. Told them they should follow golden cows that never lied. This blood upon our hands, it barely matters, if only we can make a better world after all. Pastor says there's treasure held for all the sons. We're manifesting every day, praying we're the ones. The sums that we have borrowed cannot be repaid unless we turn to alchemy, swap blood for precious metals. Plants grown from soil won't satisfy the claims. Compared to failure, oppression is a lesser devil.
I would like to invite both of my poets back up to the stage. We've got Poem A, which is your red flower, MC Joannis, and Poet B, which is your blue flower, Faya. Can we throw those flowers up? We have 3 blue and 2 reds, so this round is going to go to Faya. Let's keep it going, and one more time for MC Joannis. I don't know why I keep trying to leave in between. I'm like, oh, like I'm going too, but like, no, I stay up here. That's my entire thing I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, wonderful. So we're heading into our third round of the night. How are we feeling so far? Good, good, good. This is normally something that I do mention at the beginning of the night, but as we're going to progress here, I do just want to mention that in all spaces that we walk through, consent is key, right? Like, that is necessary. So we get up here and talk about some pretty personal stuff. That is, of course, a space we've created. With that said, if you do want to discuss work with a poet afterwards and approach them about their work, please make sure that they are in a space to receive that from you as well. That is really important. We want the dialogue to be coming from a respectful place with consent. Wonderful. So round 3, we have Poet A, who I'd like to welcome up, and Poet B, who I'd like to welcome up. So can I get a round of applause for Poet A? Shahada Jack. All the way up. And a round of applause for Poet B, please. All together, Lisa. Wonderful. Here we are. So we're going to get it going here with Poet A, Shahada Jack, and then after, yeah.
Dear colonizer, master of our history, aren't you tired? Aren't you tired of being the reason why some have no roots to claim? Confused as to why they can't find their motherland in their name. Diluted by the tongue of the oppressor, the oppressors being your ancestors. Lost in the confusion, the diffusion of what we now call a historical illusion. The rich names of Nubian kings and queens now lost to the slave, deemed undeserving of a name of meaning. The rich names of Nubian kings and queens altered to fit the American dream. The rich names of Nubian kings and queens. Nefertiti, Makeda, Kandake, Asantua emerge as Laquisha, Uniqua, Monisha, known as the ghetto names. Names your broken tongues butcher no matter how hard my people struggle to assimilate to your television expectations. They're unrecognizable to your westernized filter. You've spent lifetimes attempting to erase black beauty from the hands of time with your false narratives, pacifying your fear of the strength of our culture with the notion that you can prevent melanated magnificence in future generations with racial extermination. You've dedicated your living to discrediting my blackness, exposing your envy of my beautiful black grace with your hidden black face, found in the political correctness of cultural appropriation, its beauty dull in your interpretation, causing a societal revelation that black is beautiful, but only on a black queen. That black is powerful, but only in the hands of a black being. We are underrated royalty.
Let's keep it going for Poet A, Shahada. And I'd also like to welcome Poet B, our second poet in this round, up to the stage. Can I get a thunderous round of applause for All Together, Lisa?
Don't ask her why she won't leave. Just be there when she does. Don't ask him why he won't leave. Just be there when he does. Don't ask them why they won't leave. Just be there when they do. You always hurt the one you love. This paradox for us. How do we show we care? With a punch? A hit? Pulling hair? Oh no. We use our words. In our combat, love, and marriage, we have drawn rules of engagement that say we must battle at volume with cruel verbal weapons of throat and hot tongue. Words that are shotgun bullets, accusation, blame, annoyance, irritation, wrath, fury, rage. shame. Words that are scream and shriek, sleek and quick, each syllable a bullet that cuts through bone and marrow into the heart of the matter, where our hearts explode like ballistic gelatin. Love splatter covers all of us. The patterns it makes are hard to decipher. Is there anything left? Hate shrapnel has buried itself so deep that we are not even aware that we are becoming its cold, hard steel. And after each campaign of hurt, we come to a silent truce where the rules are rewritten but never discussed. An awkward ceasefire of goodwill and make-up sex. And while we tell ourselves that these word wounds will heal, they don't. Scar upon scar are threaded together by pain into an emotional patchwork quilt that blankets our souls, that keeps us here in this bed of matrimonial nails. Don't ask me why I won't leave. Just be there when I do.
Okay, so I would like to invite both of our poets up to the stage here. If we can get in. Oh, see? That's so nice. We're nice. Yeah, let's get in here so we can just make sure that our live stream sort of has like the same experience from a sitting at home, or in the car, or on a bus, or on a plane. Well, not a plane, I guess, because like unless you're paying for like anyway, no one is. I took Flair Air here, so I'm telling you, I did not pay for Wi-Fi. Okay, so recap of our stuff here. We have Shahada, a poet A for the night. That is our red poet flower. And we have altogether Lisa, that is poet B. That is the blue flower. 3, 2, 1, toss them up. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, red. And a big round of applause for both of our poets, Shahada and altogether Lisa. And again, I'm like, where are we going? Nowhere. I'm here. I'm just gonna do this because I feel like I'm like one of the taller folks, and then I can be in discomfort more than I usually am. Perfect. So we are heading into our fourth round. Our poet A for this first round. If I can get a round of applause for Confused, all the way up here, please. Waiting in the wings. We're ready. And then our poet B for this round here again. Let's keep it going for Jules. Without further ado, poet A, Confused.
Could we just sit for a bit in this moment? Like, stick your tongue out. Taste the components. Act silly. Pretend like you own it. You might feel like you're in the zone then right here, right now. Your small self would be proud. Vibrate your radiance out, elevate into kapow. I'm here to spell out magic sounds. You may want to write this down. With that pen, I'm groping towards a truth unspoken, so that with my notice and supposing, I can't help but hoping that less folks are eloping to coping and are instead wed, collectively and respectively to serendipity, till we all hum in harmony, quite splendidly, as one entity. Then, as individuals will sparkle, by inhabiting every particle, be blessed with bliss, manifest happiness by delving into the spiritual, till your wide mind's more than material. It's like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, as in super cute, but fairly fresh and mostly just precocious. By questioning this knowledge and causing curious commotion, you'll remain ever open to life's poetry in motion.
Keep it going for poet A, confused. Okay, I think I'm getting the hang of it here. So poet B, will get the round of applause. We're just gonna keep on. We're just gonna clap. We're just gonna clap for like an hour and a half straight. Is that fine for everybody? Yeah, okay. Except when the poetry is happening, and again, I feel like a lot of you are already doing it, but if you're not and you want to show that support and some love on stage, please, you can throw those snaps up. Yeah. I actually am not a great, you can barely, but you know, I'm here and I'm doing what I can. So second poet of the night, please, a wonderful round of applause for Jules.
How do I do this? Can somebody make it a bit taller? You're disappointed again. Too big, too broken, too used. You press your lips to my ear, say my name like a prayer, Jules, Jules, Jules. I stay where I am, engulfed in your sheets. Jules, Jules, Jules. I think about never coming out. I think about dying. I think about drowning. I hold my breath and pray you'll run out of air. Jules, Jules, Jules. Your hand presses to my throat. You tell me how easy it would be, how much you want it, how much I would like it, how much you love me. I sink deeper. You tell me you would do anything for me. You ask me why I am so ungrateful. You show me how much you love me time and time again, deeper and deeper into the black sheets. You are hungry. You are strong. You are right. I should be grateful. I should like this. I must have done something wrong again. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so fucking sorry. You left my body a crime scene. Your fingerprints on my thighs. Your laugh etched into my cheek. I have tried to purge you time and time again. I have scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed my inner thighs red, raw, open, but you won't get off. You won't get off. Your DNA under my fingernails, your shirt fibers on my skin, your saliva under my tongue. You won't get off of me. You are still here. I am not. I am stuck in that infinite moment when your eyes glazed over and my scream got stuck in my throat. I feel your weight, the pressure. I am a ghost haunting your bedroom, sobbing into the black sheets.
Let's welcome both of our fantastic poets back up to the stage, please. So I've got poet A here for you, that is your red flower confused. Poet B here for you, that is your blue flower Jules. This is just, okay. You can understand why that was complicated, right? So without further ado, 3, 2, 1, throw them up. I have blue, 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 red. So that means that our winner for this round is Jules. Let's get in there just so we can you don't have to, you certainly don't have to hug. It's just so our live, but you can if you want. I'm not saying yeah, but you know. Again, I'm still just trying to leave. I'm trying to leave before I need to stop. Okay, so we're heading into our next round here. We've got poet A. Can I get a, I've used thunderous a lot. I've used rambunctious. Thank you. Can I get a rambunctious round of applause for poet A, please, all the way to the stage, Deirdre Lee. And let's keep it going for poet B for our evening here, Lucia DeLuca. That is poet B all the way up. Together. Okay, so we're gonna start off our evening here with poet A. That is your red flower, Deirdre Lee.
I am such a lot of my life. I am such a lot to be. I am such a lot to me. I am a lot. So much, such a lot. But if you were waiting for an apology, you might want to put on some comfy clothes and get cozy, because you might be waiting for eternity or infinity, whichever is longer, because I harness my weirdness and it makes me stronger, because it's actually slightly miraculous that I'm still here. The stuff I could tell you might bring you to tears, might knock you to your knees, have you pleading with me to please cease. Though there are always those people who want a few more details in our stories, voyeuristic and hungry for everything gory, but they won't get it, because they won't ever get it. Because I'm basically dead set against allowing my pain to be entertainment for whomever happens to be in the room or on the Zoom. Sorry, not sorry. Did y'all think that I write for you? Okay, in this one room, it's like the exception that proves the rule, but generally speaking, that ain't true, that ain't it. See, my poetry is my safety valve. My poetry prevents me from punching people who misgender my nibblings or pals, who try and touch our hair, who ask invasive questions or invade our spaces or just stare. You know the one. My poetry is armor that I don, a sturdy, wordy carapace of psychic insulation. My poetry is affirmation that I'm right to persist. My poetry is celebration that I still exist. My poetry is mostly me still trying to untwist this dysphoric deceit that still fills me inside. My poetry is my heart and brain opening wide, sprouting wings and taking flight. My poetry is found feathers. My poetry is sunlight, which maybe makes me vitamin D. And almost nobody ever laughs at that line, but it stays in because I think it's funny, and my poetry, funny or not, is mine. Silly or not, it's mine. Sad or rad or mad or glad, it's mine. I mine it. I excavate. I throw my line into the word pool and I wait for the inspiration fish to bite. My poetry is mostly me practicing practical discernment, wrong from right, black from white to shades of gray, or maybe I mean shades of brown. My poetry remembers a smaller version of myself. Glass house in a tourist town, in a bad place, in a bad way. I wrote then, I write now. My poetry tells her that one day, girl, oh, we gonna be so okay. My poetry was, is, and will always be vital. I couldn't give less FUCKs about going viral. My poetry articulates my survival.
Let's keep it going for Deirdre Lee. And then in turn, let's keep it going for Poet B of the evening, Lucia DeLuca, please.
$223,478 kilometers. The last day of first grade. Our maroon minivan doesn't stall, doesn't screech for a fix. Like she doesn't know that her engine is graying, that her shock frame doesn't soften any blows, or that she is doubling as a glass case for our family of 4 for the final time. When we reach the Ilpro Honda dealership, my eyes spill the guilt of giving up the closest thing we know to a family pet. Her back door, warm with the problems of her last family, still hesitates in its track before letting out my sister and I. 0 kilometers. Our new Honda Accord stands at the top of a staircase in a ball gown, already living a Cinderella story. With AC, a sunroof, and a tiara of untouched charcoal paint, she is Princeton girl to our minivan's diner girl energy. Still, I don't trust her to take us home. She's never done it before. 71,763 kilometers. When my sister slides to the middle to make room for our new brother, I'm sure our car is the one to take him home. Like gimp bracelets, my parents' hands are a box knot between the front seats. Plastic threads looped together on cruise control, but turning into tangled vines squirming in opposite directions. 114,361 kilometers. Her elbows scraped from bike handles and knees from shopping carts. Dad kicks back in the passenger seat. Even as I get too close to a pole, or merge awkwardly, or count to 3 to stop sign while the car behind us grows impatient, 165,697 kilometers would dry vines a nuisance beneath my parents' feet. Our family car outlives our family. The Accord becomes a detour and mediation. Who owns her? What's she worth? Less financially destructive to give her to me than pay lawyers to decide. Dad teaches me to pop her hood and replace her leaky fluid. I buy her for $1. 171,318 kilometers. In drive, we harmonize as we belt Adele's Hello. She's the only device I have left that plays CDs, and she does it well. Storing 6 at a time, I name her Lucia Jr. 173,499 kilometers, almost upgrade to a Mazda 3, almost let someone else decide whether to euthanize her or sell her to a new family. 175,811 kilometers. Lucia Jr. punishes me for my betrayal. Her steering announces retirement. Her muffler screams for mercy. She stalls on an incline at a busy intersection while a long line of traffic swears and honks. Every time she brakes, I take responsibility for her stitches. Fixing her is my version of stalling. Hoards what my family used to look like by keeping just the box.
Let's keep it going for both of our poets. We've got poet A, Deirdre Lee, and poet B, Lucia DeLuca. I would like to make a note that the CD player in my car does not work, but I keep putting CDs in it anyway, and then it just eats them and eats them and eats them, and there was like 36 in there. It's a metaphor probably for my general way of being. I'd like to invite both of my poets back up to the stage here. Poet A, Deirdre Lee, poet B, Lucia DeLuca, and I would like us to toss our flowers up, please. Red and blue. 3, 2, 1, let's go. We have 3 blue and 2 red, so that means that our winner of this round is Lucia DeLuca. Just kidding. No, I wasn't. I was leaving. So this brings us to kind of our halfway point of the night, you guys. How are we all doing? I feel like you are strong and ready to just like keep going. Is that right? Yeah, I think so. I'm not, but I have to. So here we go. We're heading into our next round here. Our poet A, that is your red flower for the evening. Can I get a round of applause for Maya Spoken? And let's keep it going for our second poet of the night. That is poet B, Alda Casey. Let's keep it going. So without further ado, I'm going to give over the mic to poet A, Maya Spoken.
When I was a little girl, my mother styled my hair into the sleekest twists and called me beautiful. I learned how easy it is to feel that way until you walk out the door. We had a field trip to the Science Museum, where a woman with a silver electricity ball asked for volunteers, said it would make your hair rise, and so did my hand all the way to the sky. And when she called my name, I walked with the crowd to the stage. I placed my hands on the ball, but my hair did not rise. She said my twists were too heavy and laughter filled the room. This was the first time that my mother called me beautiful, and I thought that she was wrong. I never heard beautiful and different in the same sentence. My hair defies gravity every day, but that day it didn't do it right according to science. See, science is where a lot of black girls don't fit in what many refer to as the study of the physical, natural, and practical world. We're treated like we're supernatural instead, and that isn't always a good thing. When I would leave the house, my mother would call me beautiful, but when I entered the school, the kids called me Medusa, said my hair looked like snakes, and I felt just like her. I received my first detention because the teacher said I looked in her eyes for too long. This woman who appeared so warm suddenly became cold as stone because she didn't like my face, demonized for my appearance and weaponized for the way I responded to comments about my race, left wondering if there is a world where black girls get to be a part of science in ways that affirm that we are human, or will we always be mythical creatures pushed out of that experience? Is this why, in the history of research and medicine, black women weren't the patients, but instead forced to be the experiments? I've heard people say black women are the superheroes of the world, and I am covered in fear because in every Avengers movie there was an opposition that believed that the heroes weren't human and should be made to disappear. A study found that adults view black girls as less innocent and more grown up than white ones, and I'll never forget that the first time I was asked for my ID was because the bus driver thought I was too old to be on the school bus. I was 12. Today, I understand why I always loved Peter Pan, why I always felt so connected to concepts that don't make sense, like Neverland, where kids get to be kids, and where a black girl like myself could find a world where she feels at home in between science and magic, because black girls in so many ways are magic, and black girl magic should have never been introduced to me as something bad to begin with. Black girl magic is Bessie Coleman becoming the first black female pirate. It's Tarana Burke creating the Me Too movement. It's discoveries in stem cell research that has brought us closer to finding a cure for cancer. It's incredible that all of these miracles happened before I was born, and I left that field trip in the 4th grade thinking science was a place where black girls didn't belong. I was laughed off the stage, told my hair and their experiment wouldn't fit. But a man once said, what is science if not magic? We don't understand. And isn't that just like black girls? Audacious enough to be beautiful, intelligent, powerful, and marvelous, and still to the world not make any sense.
Let's keep it going. Wonderful. And I would like to invite our second poet of this round up to the stage. Let's keep that energy up for Alita Casey, please.
I remember I used to be free. I don't know how I could forget a time when I led with my heart and my feet followed. Unbeknownst to me, didn't even realize I was doing it. Life flowed, energy flowed, love flowed freely. Full of spunk, love, laughter, full of fire, passion, and desire. I was so in love with you, so madly and utterly in love with you. Wrapped around your finger, guided me in all my days, dancing with abandon, falling into each step, trusting faith of my next foot place, absolute knowing I was taken care of. Wait, did you just call me? I'm a fuck up, and I'm not going to amount to anything. Okay. And so I did. I stopped being my spunky, loving self. I was too bright, and I hurt your eyes, so I dimmed myself just a little bit. It's okay. I don't want to create a distraction. It's okay. I don't want to create attention. My fire is nothing but coals now, my passion forgotten. I don't know why I'm so sad. My shoulders fall to my arms, shrug lifelessly to my side, ensnared. I missed my exit. I was too busy fighting over a chatter of sort of threatened identity, not of my own. My body so tense, I feel so stiff. These shackles are too tight. I no longer know the free movement deep inside these bones, the movement where your spirit and soul dance in uninhibitedly fierce synchronicity. The kind, I'm rather a marionette, moving when and where I should be and go, never quite knowing, will my strings break? Who will I get tangled? Who will untangle me? Surely my puppeteer has my safety in mind, right? I question each step. Is this a step back to myself or a step onto the ledge of my death? I need to hear, give me directions, tell me it's safe. It's dark and I can't see my way out. I curl my body into myself and I close my eyes tight and hug my knees against my chest. I can feel my breath warm against my thighs. Warm against my thighs. And I tell myself I am safe, I am protected, I am love over and over and over again with each breath until one day I opened my eyes just a squidge and they adjusted. And my shackles come from my limbs. I did that. I feel my hands plant on the solid earth in front of me, draw my knees underneath my body.
I did that. I crawled forward. I did that. There's no love and there's no light here, and it's darkness, but I see embers, so I gather those embers into myself, and I sit with those hung embers, and I hug my knees close to my chest and feel my breath warm against my thighs. And that's all I can do is breathe and feel my breath warm against my thighs. And soon those embers became small flicks of flames, and those flicks of flames became fire, and before you knew it, I found my legs and I stood.
Let's keep it going for both poets. I'd like to welcome them both up to the stage. Our first poet, Maya Spoken. Our second poet of the evening, Alita Casey. Let's get in here, our online audience. Speaking of love and light, sometimes it's hard to find, but I can definitely feel it in this room. So thank you, guys. We have halfway through. We have our poet A, which is Maya Spoken, if I could, and poet B, Alita Casey. If I could get those flowers thrown up, that would be great. Okay, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Red, which is Maya Spoken. And a big thank you to Alita Casey for sharing her work. Thank you. So we're at the halfway point, you guys. I would like to say thank you so much for being such a great audience. I want to also mention we have I can't hunch this much. We have a lovely merch booth in the corner that has some verses merch as well as some books for sale, so please go check that out. We're always here to support and grow and build a community. It is why we are here. Also to share us poems and make some friends if you want to, you know. But yeah, we are here to support one another. So we've got that happening in the back. We're gonna head into our second half of the night now. If we're all ready, are we all ready? Okay, you sound pretty ready, but could we be a little bit more ready? Too ready. No, I'm kidding. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Okay, so poet A in our next round here. Can I get a boisterous? It's apparently the only word I know. Round of applause for Ida, please. Came up with such force that I was like, she's going. So I was like, okay, we'll come back after the fact. Second poet of this round, please. Again, another boisterous, to be fair, round of applause for Charles. Okay, he's there. Charles. Poet B, poet A. Without further ado, poet A, Ida, please.
I come from a long line of God-fearing Irani witches. Magic is in my blood. Zartusht fire in my veins. Qashqai horses run along my brow. Arabic tinge in my smile. I come from a line of God-fearing Irani witches. Married young, a long one, on both sides. Anna grew up to be illiterate but fucking wise. With the knowledge of birthing 9 lives, no book in the world can teach you that shit. I come from a long line of God-fearing Irani witches, Mashhadi mountains and Shirazi visions, Junubi poppy fields. My aunts can tell you a thing or two about the alchemy of pain, about the ritual of throwing yourself into your mother's grave. They can tell you a thing about the power of irony. Mamani's marriage began with her sister's death, and she raised her niece/stepdaughter, her first of 7, a mother at 13. I come from a long line of Irani witches, from homemakers to nomads to midwives to doctors to scholars and everything in between. They would know the power of a holy ritual, of the Cheshm Nazar, Esfand, rose water, Orange blossom dried in the sun, of cooking with zafarun, a love potion if there ever was one, of milk and honey and the secret power of a burning silence, the mystic taste of chai brewed over an open flame, the beauty of smoke in the rain. I come from a long line of God-fearing Irani witches, all my cousins deprived of free lives, most burdened with gorgeous weddings and child rearing and husbands who steal and beat and lie. I come from a long line of tired, God-fearing Irani witches who know they deserve better, but take it anyway for everyone else's sake. A line of women who've seen land fracture under revolution, war, and the weight of a century of Western imperialist mistakes. The Islamic Republic rests on the backs of the women it hates. But under black chadors, the God-fearing Irani witches have a way.
Let's keep it going for poet A, Ida. And then, like, surprise, surprise, let's keep it going again for our second poet of that round. This is poet B, Flower Blue, all the way up for Charles.
Source, resurrection. I am a flower, I am a tree, I am a ray of sunlight. I am the stars in a night sky, under the moonlight. We breathe anew with energy coming from the sun. True joy resets life definitions in ancient rhyme. As universal cycles send influxes of soul connection, my free will can choose with light, world resurrection. A daughter of two angels, 3 smiles on our faces. I welcome 4 godmothers, 5 summers of embraces. 6 acts of serendipity, painted in 7 colors. I activate my destiny with 8 energy flowers. Then access 9 dimensions, 10 sets of probabilities. I have 11 brothers and 12 super abilities. I am alive in harmony, support, one light creation. Love has eternal memory and answers all the questions. Imagination blossoms divine physical places. Our souls are stationary, but lead us on adventures. New skills built with telepathy, raise what you can learn. Ascended resurrection is the highest form of soul return. Women program reality with integrity, and I birth joy. A destiny ritual for every color of the spectrum I enjoy. With magical tools, I see the code of the light mind matrix. Being a fashion designer of nature, I build soul databases. While I also model with self-esteem to reach perfection, I speak beyond words with divine feminine resurrection.
Oh, I'm so unhunched, Charles. This is a lovely height. No, so that makes it seem like, anyway, you know what I mean. Just my back. Can we please get both of our poets from this round out here? Poet A, Ida, please. Poet B, Charles. My lovely judges in the audience there, are you ready to show me what you've got? By that I mean your flowers. Oh no. Oh no, I need to find this was, okay. 1, 2, 3, throw them up. So we have red, 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 blue, red. So that is 4 reds, which is Ida. Thank you so much for sharing your work. Big round of applause for Charles. I have like a very weird note in my own writing here that says pause for celebration, which I wrote at one point, but I do not now know what that means. So like, I think I meant like to celebrate you guys and the poets that have gone thus far. So maybe let's do that. Can we just do like a little bit of like a... That's the Charleston, in case anyone's wondering. It's not really. I don't know how to do the Charleston. That's nice. Thank you, guys. I don't know what I was trying to do there. Oh, it was also maybe to mention that we do have a really fantastic show happening after this event as well. So I know we're kind of all sitting here and in this moment, but like put that into the back of your brain to start processing that like maybe we can all hang out for like much more into the evening here and like get to know one another, or not, because I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. Okay, next round. Can I get a... I only know 2 words, thunderous and boisterous. So can I get a huge? Yeah, that's great. That's easy. That's one syllable. Can I get a huge round of applause for our first poet in this round, Rusty? And can I keep it going for poet B, our second poet in this round, Dabble? All the way up! Okay, so our first performer this evening, poet A, we're going to give the stage over to Rusty.
The first time I truly understood time is when I saw it flare in my father's eyes, when I saw the sacrifices under low skies, the howling at the moon he hid behind smiles. Simply because I never felt like my dad's son. Maybe it was the decades between us. Maybe it was simply how strong he was and feeble I was. See, my old man grew up on a farm with manure knee-high, with enough blisters to braille scriptures of labor. And there came the boy with pretty words and fancy dialects. The first time I truly understood sacrifice is when I loved for the first time, when I unequivocally lost north and south in the midst of arms, when I could cry and still be of value. Never saw my dad cry, never heard him go as far as whisper. My mom says he does. The first time I truly understood anger is when my grandfather died, when I wept in my father's arms and all he could do was stand there, legs twitching, arms clenching. He was as strong as a maple tree with a willow shadow. As he says, a tree might be stiff and emotionless, but at least it's always standing upright. I kept seeing light strain upon the glass, hoping he would fend this silence folding our thunder between us. If only I'd looked up instead of across, I would have seen beyond the wall he had built not to protect himself, but to save me from what the world expects of a grown man, to nurse the wolves with vegetables so that their bloodthirst never spawns, to race on burning coals while I hitched a ride on his back, to fly the kite in the storm as if it was merely nightfall. He gave me innocence, but innocence was not the gift. It was hiding it on the highest shelf when I'm tearing the whole house apart to find it. It is lying to me with warm teeth, knowing that happiness is better left alone. This poem was originally meant to be a jackhammer, these words a cannonball, but I begun to see my future where once stood a stranger. Then the entire wall fell like a deck of cards, like it was never truly there. And on the other side, I saw him keeping knives away from me. I saw him working tiring hours for a home. I saw him begging to see his own father every day. I had the gift in hand and wondered just how long he had locked it away from me. My dad had tears in his eyes. He rushed to me like a child in the dark. He held me close, hugged me tighter than he ever did. He said he was sorry. I said I was sorry. He said I would have done the same. I said that I probably will. And that answer right then is the closest I ever came to howling at the moon.
Let's keep it going for Rusty. And let's also keep it going for our second poet of this round. Correction, Dable. That was my correction, but then let's keep it going for Dable all the way up.
I don't know if that was hope I was feeling or a dopamine sealant, but alone I've been reeling from the realness of my demons. Now you're my home and growing up's not something I need to deal with, so we'll snort it up and drift off through the ceiling. We'll make a hobby out of merging into one being, because right now, being out of body's never felt so appealing. And I'm stuck with this belief that life has peaked, but I don't need to weep, because right now I feel free. Time's just a liability, you see, so why would I invest in mental stability when I can reliably get mashed up and say goodbye to vulnerability? My, how fucking thick of me. When we fly high, we lose all accountability because we're two adults under the illusion that we're the one in the passenger seat. I've checked the results, and the conclusion is that neither of us can be the one to parachute into the sea. So I need a second look at where we made an error. Can you measure where the pleasure turned to pressure? Because we make each other better, so why do we still regret it? We're aching from regression and hating our own reflection. See, look, that's not my hand. It's a claw. And despite you seeing more, I know that you've had the same thoughts, but it's you that they're directed towards. And that's not a temper, it's two isolated cases of depression under the umbrella of mutual love and protection. The tension's rising, I feel my insides writhing. Are we ever going to find it or what? Because I don't think that I'm emotionally blind, but this rot has got to be stopped, and I'm starting to realize the cost. I just want you to know that I never wanted to let you go, but it seems necessary for us both to grow, because we need to learn to love ourselves before we can love each other. And that's the real fucker. I do love you, obviously. This isn't a split based in dishonesty. It's just a reassignment of priorities. We've got to realize our own qualities and hop out of each other's pockets, because there's beauty in the opposites. It's just a shame that separate we can't coexist. Thank you very much.
Okay, one more time for Rusty and Dable, please. Both poets, please come up to the stage. I feel like we're all really getting the hand of this now, so that's nice, right? Yeah, okay, good. Judges, how are we feeling? Are we ready? You have to be. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Flowers up. We have 2 blue, 2 red, and a red, so that means that our winner for this evening is Rusty, but can we please keep it going for Dable? Oh my goodness. You know what's gonna come in like wild here is like I host a slam. This is not like my first day on the planet. Like this is a thing I'm supposed to understand. But I don't. I also forget to like take scores and stuff. These flowers are kind of nice though. They feel like less pressure than like a number. Because we've already seen how I'm doing with numbers here so far. Not so great. Not so great. Okay, next round. Can I get just whatever kind of round of applause? Like you can wave your hands, you can yell, whatever feels right to you. For our first poet of this round, this is poet A, Rudy J. And our second poet of this round, please, Nico Smart. And we're going to keep it going all the way up for both of those poets. And again, our first poet of the night going first in this round is Rudy J. Let's go.
Stages of grief. When I tell you healing isn't a wound wiped, stitched, and bandaged clean, what I mean is that healing is a life's work, a daily reckoning, reaching for my phone to call and tell him that thing until I remember the line will be dead forever. Healing is collapsed lungs too tired to find breath, a
Body that prefers contraction no matter which one of his sweaters I wrap myself in. Healing is heavy, hums steady. The backdrop to the charade I call living, a paradox, presents and removes the effort I can no longer commit to. A day like my own burial is a day I want to live for him too, but time passing scab's old wound creates too much distance. Tries to outrun her, knocks twice as hard, old memories in favor of new ones I re-injure, because what if people forget? Worse, what if they assume I would rather? But his name is impatient, always on the tip of my tongue, like my entire existence is pinned to the roof of my mouth, 'cause it's been 5 years since my brother was gunned down, which is too much time and somehow not enough to be in the car with his 10-year-old son when he asks me why his dad was shot. And I wish I could swallow a truth whole, give evil a reason, reverse his tears streaming when I tell you healing isn't a wound wiped, stitched, and bandaged clean. What I mean is that here in the passenger seat sits a child where a father is supposed to be his young prodigy. The closest thing, a blade that keeps cutting me open.
Keep it going for Rudy J. All right, heading into our second poet of this round. Again, as loud as we can or as loud as we feel like, but as loud as we can. For Nico Smart, please.
I met him in the 6th grade, Simon, emblazoning the sharp edge of his pointer finger over a frog's upturned belly. Middle school science class turned grave song the moment he opened his mouth and asked, "Got any live ones?" I remember the scalpel, mistrusting in his back pocket as he needle pointed his fingernail into the persistent flesh of repurposed amphibian. How we all stopped and stared and said nothing. Simon killing insects on the playground, slinging spiders at girls, supervisors too busy scrutinizing our tank top straps to startle. Simon says jump. Simon says clap your hands. Simon says he didn't mean to pull her hair, only meant to give her a scare. Says his big boss dad believes terror builds character. In secondary school, Simon plays all the sports, but his favorite game is Grace. Praises her in public, deems her slut behind closed doors, equates her mouth to a trash chute, another body to brag over. Simon says dance, says play dead, says if she didn't want it, she should have tooth and nailed her way out of his bed. Simon's crowned class president, voted valedictorian, rules the school with an iron fist and vice grip, non-committal Nepo scholar, sucking daddy's dick for dough, playing at post-secondary, stripping women silent in the sheets. Simon joins a frat and declares cake stands his degree. Our esteemed king of craft beer and no accountability. Simon says lie down, be still. He'll leave once he's had his fill. Sometimes Simon's name is Harvey, or Jerry, or Brock, or Larry. Sometimes Simon is unassuming and unabashed, calls himself a friend to weasel into your pants, deigns to stand with survivors while hanging out at their abuser's house. And look, for every 10 of you, there's one of me. Making me feel safe is your responsibility. Simon says, calm down, let it be, asks why I didn't say something sooner, then proceeds to talk over me, pretends not to know my pronouns, prods at my opinions, labels my indignation erratic, claims equality while eating the excess. My body is not bureaucratic. Like anti-abortion legislation wasn't enough. We are fighting for autonomy each time a new politician decides he should really speak up. Simon says, roll over, lower your voice. Respect is transactional, my outrage irrational, but I'm telling you now, because the shit's fucking tiring. If you are not angry, you are not listening.
Let's keep it going as both poets come back up to the stage. We're gonna get in, not just so we're in our, because we have our online audience to consider. Oh my goodness, you guys. Okay, that was my moment. I've had it. I think we all needed one. 3, 2, 1, flowers up, please. We have 2 red and 3 blue, which means Nico Smart is our winner of that round. But can we please get a round for both poets, including Rudy J. I'm not going anywhere. Okay, you guys, guess what? We only have like 3 rounds left. Whew, I know. We're like cooking with gas. Is that a saying? Okay, good. For the longest time, I thought that I'm not going to put my hands in your soup was a well-known idiom. And I, like, for the better part of my adult life, when, like, something was happening, I'm like, well, I'm not going to put my hands in their soup. Like, I'm not going to get, and, like, no one corrected me. I need you to know what I meant was too many cooks in the kitchen. So, like, this version of me here is my day-to-day existence. And this version of you guys here is your day-to-day existence. And we're doing it together because we are a community. Okay, next round. Okay, round of applause for Poet A of this first round. As loud as we can, as big as we can. We're coming around the home stretch. Is that a saying? Great, we're doing good. Coming around the home stretch here for Poet A Ever. All the way up. And then we have our fantastic Poet B in this round as well. Let's keep it going for Mo the Poets. Wonderful. So we're going to hand over the stage here to Ever. Let's go.
Polycystic ovary syndrome, polytheistic tending to the feet of saints you hymn to in pain forgotten as it's scribbled into the doctor's cursive prescription page whose pen tip refrains from recommending reprieve. No one ever recommended that a woman not suffer, never basically fine, feel the sting of bubbling acid and act as the buffer to the discomfort of peers who cannot know that the pressure crushes you, induces suffer. Polycystic ovary acting, despite the symptoms you're redacting, from your pleads of cystic abdication, your pain has no relation to reality. You don't meet the criteria on technicality. It's not going to kill you, just a minor casualty. No rewards or thanks for your cavalry. The weight of coin-sized treasure troves is near fatality. But our wombs were made out to be a gift, to web molecules into life and fulfill your femininity as an emblem, but do it gracefully and without tremble. Ample androgen so the ovaries abstain from letting go. It's the cope they crave. Cysts develop, encroach on what grants you breath and hope, incurable. Incorrigible to find beneath that you're worthy of belief. Track the scars and keep receipts. Treatment is earned. Don't bring your grief. To treat is to reduce what you feel. To preach is to reduce how you feel. Paint your belly on a black and white page and send you away when you're not brimming with cystic currency. You don't check their sadistic boxes. It's not your turn to be overly optimistic. Male hormones invade and the women can't fix it. Fixate on your ability to persuade, self-educate to self-advocate, to overturn the way they hate to help you. Ovaries hide away beneath flesh tissue. The body made a mistake. That's not the issue. It's the ones who say it's fake and then dismiss you. Thank you.
Let's keep it going forever. Let's keep it going forever. Did you guys get, like, that's forever? Because, like, that's a word. Okay, fine. Let's just, like, switch gears here. We're going to head into our second poet of this round. So let's keep it going again. For Mo the Poet, please.
do you know? Are you aware of the ways I make myself smaller and to fit in spaces where my existence is rare, almost forbidden, expected to live in secret, in waiting rooms, and monitor my breathing as if everyone is looking at me. God forbid you can hear me. I suppose sometimes I wish I could disappear. Maybe that could be a better magic trick. I once said advocacy is my magic trick. I pull it out when no one's looking. Funny how everyone's looking at me when I speak. I keep myself composed, like neutrality is in my blood. There is nothing neutral about this body. Have you noticed? Which is to say, is this still a poem if all you hear is a jumbled mess of my thoughts? There's both grief and victory in existing in a world that's not built for you. And so it turns out that the grief is heavier than the victories. However, whenever it's a sunny day, I still look out the window, pray for another day. Sylvia Plath once said, I will be a little God in my small way, so I am my own God. I pray to myself, validate my own existence when no one else will. The God that I'm supposed to believe in has failed me over and over, so I create my own belief system for this body no one has ever believed in. Perhaps this body of mine is magic, and I don't even get a breath to believe in it.
Let's keep it going for both poets, please. Poet A in that round was Ever. Poet B was Mo the Poet. I would like to invite both poets back up if they'd like to move onto the stage here, so our lovely audience can see us all together, and our internet audience anyway can be a part of this event too. I need to work on myself. Okay, further ado, 3, 2, 1, flowers up, please. We have 4 red and 1 blue, which means that Ever is our winner for this evening. Well, no, for this round, but also we are all winners. Round of applause for both poets, Mo the Poet and Ever. Thank you so much. And I'm not going to try to frantically leave the stage. I'm going to stay here and announce the next round. Okay, so this is it, guys. Penultimate, is that a real world? Word. Oh, man. Thank you. Okay, so our penultimate round here. Can I get a very loud, very kind round of applause for Telez? That is Poet A for this round. Or Telus. We will get clarification here in 2 seconds. And then our poet B for this round, please, again, just like all in for us, Star Jewel. So I'd like to invite poet A up here. This is Tell Us. Please, let's keep it going.
Well, folks, this is life. Just not my life, not your life, not their life, but for sure someone's life, I think. Well, folks, this isn't going too well. My life, your life, their life? Not his, though. He's golden. Well, fuck me, folks. This is hard. Even when it's supposed to be easy. Why? Is it just my life? Is it just your life? Is it all our lives? It is, ain't it? What am I waiting? What are you waiting? Are we the only ones waiting? And you, golden boy, can you just stop smiling? Thank you.
One more time for Tell Us. Okay, so our second poet of this round, this is Poet B. Can I get a round of applause for Star Jewel, please?
Army soldier sentenced, music producer charged, Uber driver arrested for raping a girl in his car, young woman dies from drugging at a bar. The headlines are always the same, exasperated in a way that make rape a foreign place, a distant war crime, a fraternity party, an island vacationing celebrity. Why do they always warn about the date rape drug, but never the rape by a date? Now, they make nail polish that changes color in contaminated drinks. They tell you to ask for an angel shot if you think you're in danger, but how do you defend yourself from people who aren't strangers when you still require a babysitter? More than 90% of victims know their attackers, 30% of which are family members. A few months ago, I read a post that discussed how in Scooby-Doo, the worst villains are typically humans we know and trust. I used to argue with the boys in 3rd grade about who watched that series more, and I'm starting to think that maybe it wasn't even intended for us. How much those sadistic adults like to touch, to place up upon the lap, sing, and then call it an innocent dance, to watch us squat in gym class, to scout daughters' friends and label it a sleepover, more like indecent exposure and unwanted grabs. Let's play dress up. You play the princess, and I'll play the dad. What can a little one do about a monster in the closet? The serpent under the bed. Isn't that what perpetrators do? Hide in familiar places, lock bedroom doors, use bed springs as pole vaults to get under cartooned blankets. They say monsters are just shadows. How do you outrun a shadow? Is it really evil if it bleeds the same DNA? I thought it just wanted to play, that it was a game called make-believe, that secrets are okay to keep. Later, just to plead that only 6.5% of rape cases lead to conviction, while assuring that monsters are only a function of imagination. You were dreaming, and never actually awoke from sleeping. You were a child. Are you sure your memory isn't fleeting? There's no proof. This only happens in white vans and hotel rooms, nightclubs and urban pubs. This is not PTSD. This happened 20 years ago. It must be a fantasy. It's he said, she said. How can I give you credibility? Honey, dear, a monster is not the one responsible for safety. Then why did I recognize its figure? Why wasn't it scary?
Okay, I would like to invite both poets up from this round here. Can I tell us poet A up to the stage, Star Jewel poet B up to the stage? We're getting like very good at this by now, right? Like you guys are getting very good at this by now. I am carrying on how I've been carrying on. We know the drill. We've got our flowers. We need them in the air. 3, 2, 1, please. So we have blue, 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 red, red. I feel like I'm speaking in Morse code. But that is going to be my winner of this round, please, for Star Jewel. A huge round of applause for Teles. And I'm going to invite you guys to, Oh. Team, we are at the end of this one night, at the beginning of this beautiful thing. I appreciate you guys walking through this with me. We have one last round. I think we'll get into it. Like I said, there is a fantastic show coming up after this as well, so we'll have those moments. But yeah, we did it. Well, we're doing it. It's not done yet. So without further ado, can I please get a round of applause for my first poet in this last round? This is poet A, all the way up for Shaf.
You have to do Chris.
You guys. Got ahead of myself. Second poet in this last round. Can I please get a huge round of applause for 1990s Chris? This is poet B. Without further ado, I would like to invite Shaf, poet A, up to read his poem, and we'll move on. Thank you.
Lights, camera, distraction. Come see the main attraction down in Tinseltown, a gown worth more than 20,000 Palestinian lives. It's easier to sell a story about dresses that shine than it is to humanize children's cries, because pills go down smoother when you only wear them as lapels. It takes real talent to compare the red carpet to the red rivers of hell. Real acting chops to pretend to care that the ground people worship about the ground people. Real acting chops to pretend to care about the ground people worship being leveled into waste, as though people don't worship the very footsteps you take. So Tinseltown wears their participation trophies, molded by the finest grade narcissism, forged in the research of poll numbers and performativity. It's so condescending, knowing they place all of their allegiance on what's trending, which begs the question, when a child dies to missile strikes and Hollywood doesn't stand in solidarity, does anybody care? You could light the sky itself ablaze, or one entire world, and you'd be lucky to make headlines for a day, because it's easy to blind yourself to what is sinful when your eyes are full of stardust and tinsel. It's far preferable to mislead than to intercede, focus on one human's crimes for the sake of airtime. Sure, you could be edgy, so long as you don't touch their bottom line. Send a message that everybody deserves love. Let the emperor wear his new clothes during live broadcasts across the globe, but only if he isn't a homosexual. What kind of world are we in where the only thing that can supersede Oscar fashion casualties is the Israeli propaganda machine? In school, they may have told you the Holy War saw a true end, but in truth, you just need to know the hashtags where they trend. The Crusades have undergone a rebrand, led by a new command and a social media manager with the same old genocidal principles. And you can be sure the next time the same old shit happens, the first to speak out will be the residents of Tinseltown. But I know actions weigh more than the words they step to and commit. Because when they say never again, I've learned it only applies to a certain range of pigment.
Let's keep it going for Shaf. And our final poet of the final round. Let's keep it going for 1990s Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris. Nice to meet you. This poem is about when I used to work in a factory. I make small talk amongst the clanging of metal, hoping that the day goes quick. I'm not sure that it will. He says things I'd rather not respond to. Each clang, each opinion gives me a familiar chill. I pre-treat each proclamation with anxiety, each sentiment with uncertainty, waiting for the moment that he picks his color out of the rainbow and shows it to me without asking. He tells me how Big Macs used to be bigger, how Mars bars used to be cheaper, how there's nothing good on TV, how the weather is all over the place, how there are snowflakes everywhere, how he can't stand some of those gays on TV. I load parts of cars into steel baskets, ready to be treated for painting, for transformation. Over and over, grubby hands press grubby buttons, lowering metal into tanks. I try to be patient. I try not to think about putting my hand in. I wonder if I qualify. I wonder if he only hates half of me. I'm not good at fractions and I don't like the odds. Anything uneven just throws me off, like we are loading the parts directly onto my chest, like the extractor fan is over my mouth, like it is taking everything out. He waits for my response. I stand behind his knowledge of my female partner. Let him rip this part of me to pieces, because sometimes I want to too. The part of me that likes people I'm not supposed to. The part of me that makes me question myself every day, pretending to be straight or pretending to be gay, like I have to prove who I am. The part of me that makes me feel like I'm not a real man. The part of me that makes people sick. My desire or my mind, I don't know which causes which. I can't pretend that I don't feel like this, but I can pretend in this moment that it doesn't exist. That I don't exist. The heat from the tank, the pulsating metal is uncomfortable enough that my discomfort seems usual. To remove parts, we wear oven gloves, which have been given a masculine design, so we feel better about putting them on. He tells me they're all right up to 200 degrees. I tell him, so are my mum's. He justifies his choice to wear them. I see his colors. They are not quite as blue as I expect. Sensing his own voice, his own anxieties, none of us are quite as blue as we're supposed to be. Our collars limp from too many washes. We hang them out to dry and make small talk. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, we did it. But more importantly, these poets did it. So this is it. This is our final scoring with florals for this evening. Can I invite both of my poets back up to the stage? Can I please get Shaft and 1990s Chris? I want to say this is like a very very Calgary stage right now, which is where, yeah, as mentioned, we are from. I am from. Please, I should have said that after the scoring, maybe. Jesus. Anyway. Just kidding. The poetry stands by itself. 3, 2, 1, roses up, please. So I have 3 blue and 2 red, which means that 1990s Chris is the winner of this round. But I would like to say thank you to Shaft. Good to go, you guys. Let's hug it out. I'll just go fuck myself. No. I was like, we're going to have a Calgary hug. Okay, so we have another night coming up here. We've got Johnny to kind of come and speak to this evening. I'd like to thank everybody for being here. I'd like you to applaud yourselves. Thank you.
See, you can show compassion to Alberta. It's fine. Hi, YouTube. We appreciate the entire landmass on Turtle Island, including Treaty 7 and all around. Everyone, how was tonight? Well, I have great news. The night is not over. I said the night is not over. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we are, as There's this thing called poet time. And there's this thing called like my people's time. And you know, when you know, you know. And so this is what happens in this space. We have an amazing show coming right up right away, the Love Jones Showcase. And we just need to do a little quick transition. You don't need to leave the room at all. We hope that you stick around. We've got 4 amazing, just rocking, rock star, black, beautiful, powerful, bold poets who are going to share some words with you tonight, some short sets. And we've got an amazing DJ, Denise, who's going to spin some tunes, which would be awesome. And then we've also got some amazing artists all the way from Nigeria here to showcase some art in a moment. So please stick around and check that out and support them. So does that sound good? Great, great, great. You literally don't need to leave the room at all. You can go smoke and come back, whatever. And if you didn't pay for it, it's all good. Consider this an invitation to the Hangouts, okay? So come on back. And if you are here for the show, that's awesome. So glad you're here. We'll see you in a little bit, okay? And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks so much, everybody. Before I let go, just in case you do need to go off to the universe to do other things, tomorrow night, more poetry. It's going to be the semifinal round. And then on closing night, which is Friday, everything's happening right here. We've got another legendary mother of poetry, one of our great mothers, Lillian Allen, dub poet, Jamaican goddess, who has infiltrated and conquered almost the Academy. So please come check that out. And we've got the incredible Kimortal, the artist, yes, right, who's going to close out the finals. So please be sure to come back on Friday. And yeah, we'll see you in just a few moments. Thanks so much. Okay.